All right. Good afternoon. Welcome back to Three Swords Gaming. We're continuing our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough in Icebrood Saga. And after an unfortunate event this weekend in which none of my audio recorded, we are replaying No Quarter, and we are ready today to continue through the second half in No Quarter. So we pick up here at the end of the instance, partially because it didn't register it yesterday when I knocked out this instance, so I had to come back in and play it again. But it's a nice reminder of where we're at and what we got going on. So Banger's actions, of course, have led us into Char Civil War. And when we showed up here in the area where the war is being fought in Drizzlewood Coast, what we found is that the friendly forces, that being the allied legions, are really reeling. They're on their back foot. And the Dominion, which is the forces of Bangar and Ryland, are pressing down and have them pinned down down here in Umbral Grotto. However, after some unconventional warfare on this side and some very conventional warfare on this side, and kind of attacking on like two different fronts here, although really it's not. I mean, it's one front, but by taking this hybrid warfare approach, we have made some success. We've gained back some territory, and then when we discovered the location of this place, which was a secret Steel Warband Dominion kind of command post type thing, we were able to come in here, disrupt their operations, and capture Cinder over here, who's part of Ryland's Warband, his second in command, or 2IC, as we like to say in the Army. And we're going to use her as a bargaining chip. So that's where we pick up. Now, Smodur he's not a fan of this. But Malice and Kree and others are, so Ephraim. So that's where we're at right now. Let's see. We want to meet with Smodur in Umbral Grotto. Let's get moving over to Umbral Grotto. All right, where are you at, Smodur? Oh yeah, that's right. He's up on the hill. Of course.
Say what you want about his politics,
All right, the always likable Smodur.
Commander. I've got new orders for you.
orders.
Salvage and requisitions. If you have a problem with that, feel free to go crying to Krisha.
What are we salvaging?
We've crippled submarines off the port. Retrieve intact torpedoes for our ordnance cache. End any Dominion you encounter. Also, we've seized plans for an enemy weapon. This may be a challenge, but you'll need to assemble it. Once you manage that, I'll send someone to collect it.
We're supposed to be creating diversions, keeping Dominion attention on us instead of Malice.
You'll make plenty of noise, Brimstone. Destroy any enemy vehicles you come across and recover their parts. Materiel often has far greater value than ranks on the ground. Gears over grunts, I like to say.
You say a lot.
And after we're done with this salvage mission?
I'll share next steps when appropriate. Keep me apprised.
All right, so we have an interesting thing here with Smodur kind of like giving us orders like this. It's a bit of like a military power play, right? So when you have peers or people who are ostensibly peers, and one of them gives orders to the other, they kind of put them in a fun spot where if you disregard the orders, then it makes you look negligent. If you follow the orders, then you kind of volunteer yourself to be lower in the hierarchy. You kind of...
With that guy for months. Can't believe she hasn't throttled him.
Well, she did work beside Bangar for years.
Let's just get this done.
Yes, let's. You kind of show yourself to be like, further down on the totem pole, even if you are in fact peers by rank or position. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic there that we see exercised by Smodur. I don't know that we are meant to be perceived as peers with Smodur. Ritlock is not technically peers with Smodur. We do not fall anywhere within the Char hierarchy. So I don't know that that's what they were trying to communicate, or that that's even a nuance that that ArenaNet would be particularly savvy to. Just kind of an interesting thing, an observation, if you will. All right, the experimental weapon, which Smodur is quite confident we would not be able to put back together. Oh, are we now in a map where, yeah, look at this. When we don't care, we can, of course, find a map that's still working on south. Super great. Okay. Um, let's put the weapon together. Researcher down there must be half Asura. I can't make horns or tails out of this. Color code or not, all these parts just look like levers. Well, figure it out, man. I don't know what to say. Firing means fire. Elevate means to the sky. Let's try and figure it out. So firing means fire would be red. Elevation to the sky would be blue. So red, blue versus red, green. Or green, blue. And breach, green. There's some sense in that, too. So let's go with this middle one.
The Dominion weapon is functional.
Oh, good. The Dominion weapon is functional.
Took you about as long as I thought it would. Carry on, Commander.
Yes, carry on. Alright, so now we gotta salvage parts. Salvage parts from, we're actually salvaging munitions from submarines, and then salvaging parts from char vehicles, war machines, if you will. So let's get about that. And we're creeping up here on one of my favorite, in a way, one of my favorite moments in Drizzlewood Coast and in No Quarter, and then the subsequent story chapter, I forget what it's called, Jormag Rising. Not that it's like particularly good. In fact, I think ArenaNet, on this particular at the moment that we're coming up to, which I like so much, kind of they missed the point, or from a military standpoint at least. But it is interesting to like talk about and look at, and that's kind of why I like it. So we will get to that soon enough. But first, we need to get torpedoes from these sunken submarines. So why do I not have underwater skills? Have I not been underwater? Like, I mean, what the heck? I know I've been underwater because I played through this story chapter already. All right. Yep, ferocity's always good. Oh, actually, I want that to be on the other side of the stun break, though. Jeez. All right, get us a stun break in there, and oh, I don't know, a little extra bleeding, I guess. That works underwater. That'll work. Good enough. Alright, let's get rid of a couple of these sharks so we have uninhibited access to the submarine. Alright, one torpedo. I do like Ritlock's little bubble on his head. Now, this is a skin that players can get if in fact they want this, like, breather skin, little bubble. And it's bubbly, so it's not like a glass bubble, like it's like an air bubble. You see it kind of moves around with him and stuff. I believe it's tied to the swim infusions. So if you do the same sort of events that are required to gather the swim infusions, and you can also like spend those infusions on this bubble air breather skin if that's really something that you feel so inclined. Most players don't play underwater enough for that to matter, and I certainly do not. I don't play underwater any more than I need to be honest. I think Guild Wars 2 does underwater combat as good as any game. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good, if that makes any sense. I'm not saying that it's bad. It just doesn't. Being underwater just doesn't feel that good. If that makes sense. So, yeah, I have no use for that bubble. But some folks, maybe I will at some point when it comes to like unlocking every skin. I have thousands of skins on my main account.
You've recovered the torpedoes.
Good to see you can work unsupervised.
We're allies, not lackeys.
You're a soldier in the field, Tribune. Do the job.
You could take that job and
We'll call you when the next task is done.
Alright. So, actually, coming back to Ritlock's dialogue there, another interesting thing, not only does the story get darker with Icebrood Saga, but they also slightly more mature language, not to the point where, actually, is it? No, it was post Icebrood Saga. It's when they re-released Season 1 where they really came, like, pretty close to some adult language.
All
and also in End of Dragons. So, but that started with Icebrood Saga, where they started kind of being a little bit more liberal with their language. Um, they have the rating for it, so it's not necessarily a problem from like an ESRB point of view. Uh, but they had not really done that so much in the past. You know, they gradually get a little bit more adult, which is probably a welcome thing. I mean, at some point they had to take a step back and kind of acknowledge that like their player base has an average age of like well into adulthood, and thus they can treat their players like grown-ups. ESRB like notwithstanding, like that is still a relevant thing. All right, let's start getting Sharkar parts, and I'll come back to what I was talking about, which is skins, right? So I got a whole mess of skins on my main account, but there's a whole bunch that I don't have still because there's so many skins available in the game. And so many of them are like gem store or like Black Lion chest type stuff. So there's still plenty for me to get even on my main account, never mind an account like this. And I think chasing skins is probably something that I'm going to incorporate into 0-0-2 when we're done with the story playthrough and I kind of return to the 0-0 model for a little bit. Then we may chase some skins. We may set a goal to have X number of skins, or complete some of the achievements associated with gathering skins. That might be a good way to go about it. So when we get to that point, then maybe we'll care a whole lot more about skins. Even then, I don't know that that's like the skin that I'm going to want to chase to complete any sort of achievement, but I don't know. We'll see. Alright, shark card number 2, and then what we'll do... Wait. It doesn't have like a little thing to grab the... Well, we can't grab parts from this one? What the heck? Alright, no problem. That was waiting on me anyway, so I'm going to take advantage of it. And looks like this map must have just finished South Meta? Is that what's going on here? Kind of looks that way. Yep. Literally just finished South Meta from the looks of things. Alright, at least this one left me some parts. And is that other one respawned over here? Looks like someone destroyed it over here. Oh. Yeah, so... Oh, wait, there's one. Alright, cool. Yeah, we might go in there and grab those supply caches since they're just sitting there open. When you finish the South Meta, the next thing that immediately happens is that a number of like mini-boss sort of characters spawn all over the map in different locations.
We finished collecting the carp.
Oh, we missed our chance.
There's more to be done.
Care to elaborate?
When you need to know.
So all these little mini-bosses, ultimately if you can kill all of them, one, the rewards are pretty good. So yet another thing on this map that makes like the rewards for the map and for completing meta on the map like really, really good. Not only does the meta event both here and then the last one over here, not only do both of those like just dump loot on you, but after this one, then you got like all those little mini bosses all over the place. I forget how many there are. It's in the achievements. It doesn't matter. However many it is, like 8 or something. All those drop extra loot as well. So there's just like this map just rains loot on you, which I think is really good because it's a good map, it's a fun map, and the fact that it also rains loot on you means that it's going to maintain a solid player population for like the foreseeable future.
Smodur.
You need to be properly armed for your next assignment. Shaman, where's the crystal?
Right next to you. It's not ready yet.
You were given a direct order. Since you don't have a conventional imperator, maybe you've forgotten what that means.
Sir, your orders were, and I quote, to add a flame boost to iron munitions. Priority 1, you said. I haven't had the time or extra energy to power the crystal as well.
I need solutions, not excuses, soldier.
Give them the crystal as is. A flame core could complete the charging process.
Where can we find one of those?
A few of our shamans joined immediately. They use the cores to fuel their burning effigy.
Excellent. You have your next mission. See to it, Commander.
Alright, do we want to talk more to this fire shaman about this thing? What is this crystal that we're looking for? What am I looking for? You will require a flame core. It is the work of multiple shamans channeling their energy into a single source. It is used to fuel powerful, dangerous things, like effigies. Where would I find one? Look for any rituals by your enemies to summon flame effigies, and failing that, the effigies themselves. Okay, so they give us two options, the rituals and the effigies themselves. And that's really to give us the wiggle room in case the events themselves are not going. So you can see there's one over here. There's also one that takes place like over here or over here, somewhere in this general ballpark. So we can see there's one that's available to us right there at the moment. Let's see if we can parachute in there in time to catch it. Oh, there's still one mastery point down there that I haven't got yet. Maybe we'll grab it immediately after this. Alright, so the effigy's up at the moment. So the ritual is complete, but we'll just get the crystal directly from the effigy. They were the ones conducting the ritual. Ooh. That flamethrower, man. Oh, it actually got me. That's what I get. That's what I get for messing around. Alright.
Serious. Time to do some real damage.
Seen that glowing rubble.
Yes, I see that glowing rebel. Thank you, though, Ritlock,
A centaur.
for bringing my attention to it. That's super cool of you. Alright, flame core. In the wreckage sits a glowing orb. It is warm to the touch.
Smodur, we've got a flame core.
Sounds good.
Get it to the nearest munitions.
Our agents just sent word. There's an enemy tribune nearby. Take them out.
You totally interrupted Smodur. Kind of not what we were looking for. Alright, cool. So we got another master point here. We'll take it. And now we need to get to the nearest, like, munitions specialist. You know what? We'll just drop in on this one right here. We got the war supplies. Might as well use it.
Don't you understand? Dominion will prevail. Join the winning side.
Watch the trees. They like to
Hi. I need this crystal infused with the power of this core. Put these two things together for me. Smodur. Smodur insists on it. It's Smodur's thing. That is unusual, but I'll look into it. I know better than the question Imperator Smodur. I wish we had the ability to ask why it's unusual, right? But we don't, so bloop.
Commander, do you have that charged crystal yet?
Got it. What does it do?
Gives us back an edge. Iron materiel fell under Dominion control. Now they have a weapon we can't afford to leave in their hands. I've got the location of their supply bunker. Make your way there and await instructions.
Alright. So we got a follow-on mission here. It's related to some sort of weapons development on the part of the Dominion. Because they got their hands on Iron Legion materiel. That sounds like an Iron Legion problem. But I guess that's why we're getting the mission from Smodur, right? Because he is the Iron Legion Imperator. So I suppose that all makes sense. Do we want some root vegetables? We'll have to kill these guys if we did.
Feel the fury. Wither.
Man, it was totally worth it for the rutabagas. And parsnips. Like, we are ready to make, like, a hearty winter soup. Like, we got rutabagas, parsnips, beets. Wonderful. Wonderful. Alright. I don't know that I've ever had rutabagas, if I'm being honest. I like beets. Beets are good. Not as good as blackberries, but they're good. Have I had parsnips? I think I have had parsnips. I just have never, like been involved in any sort of thing where, like, where like, cooking rutabagas part of the experience, I guess. Is that like, do Americans eat a lot of rutabagas? I feel like we don't. I wonder where they eat a lot of rutabagas. Don't know. All right, we're almost to the location of our follow-on mission. Unfortunately, we got snipers en route.
They'll have to hit much harder.
All right, here we are. We got some sort of vent, right? Why would you have a vent poking up out of the ground like this? Because there's some sort of facility under the ground?
No, not that cog.
Did you hear a voice?
Not sure. Thought he said this was a supply bunker.
Smodur, what exactly does this crystal do again?
Destroy Dominion's ability to use iron resources against us. As I said,
Yeah, but how?
with a really big boom. You wanted a distraction? This is it. Stop wasting time and drop the grenade.
I don't like this. Something feels off.
This is war, Commander. We do what's necessary or we lose.
Okay, so I don't know, like, what the commander doesn't like. I guess because we can't see who's down this vent, we can't confirm that they're enemy combatants or whatever, but, like, the commander here, who's bashed 1,000,001 people with this hammer, is suddenly, like, objecting to using a grenade? Like, on what, on moral grounds? On ethical grounds? Just, commander, drop it down there.
If we let Dominion keep the tech, the legions will lose more lives.
Oh, maybe we should move back.
That was more than just a grenade.
The way in has got to be below us somewhere. Let's go.
What is the, like, this should be a win. I don't know why we're worried about it. But let's go find out what happened. Let's go find the entrance to this place. Probably that gear right there. Oh, yeah, look at that. Giant doors.
Commander, enemy tribune near your position. Be careful.
All right, thanks for the heads up. All right, we'll come on in here.
What have we done? What have we done? This is not how we save the Char.
Smodur, the supply depot was fully staffed.
Yes, people are a resource.
You bastard.
There's no time to be squeamish. We need to get serious if we're going to win.
If we become the monsters, we've already lost.
Let's check the bodies. Could be survivors.
All right, so like, Smodur's a jerk. He's consistently been a jerk throughout the story, but on this one, he's 100% right. And I literally have no idea where, like, Slayer of dragons and gods and liches and all kind of things commander is hung up. I don't understand where a career soldier like Ridlock, where'd he go to? Where he's hung up on this. We killed enemy combatants. We should be really satisfied with the success we've had here on this operation. Now, maybe they somehow view the fact that this was like some kind of like branding effect here. Look at that. We got like this branding thing going on. Was this like a searing crystal or something? Like, if it was used as an unethical weapon, like using white phosphorus or something, then I guess, then we can have some reservations with that. But they seem to be upset that they killed enemy. Like, why is that upsetting? You're being ridiculous, Ridlock and Commander, both of you. The corpses look unarmed. The uniforms are military. Okay. So, then good for us. They're wearing military uniforms. What do we got over here? Seems like this was an active workshop, not a supplies barracks. Okay, then we did the right thing. What is this damage invention over here? The inventions scattered around the room don't look like any you've seen before. This might have been a research and development group. Well, that should be a high priority target. Not just a valid target, a high priority target. A lot of the inventions looked well structured, nearly complete.
There's no one left alive.
So if they were on the brink of introducing new technology to the battlefield, we 100% did the right thing.
Everything I'm seeing says this is more than just a supply bunker.
As far as I can tell, they were doing some sort of weapons R&D. Smodur wasn't lying about that, at least.
Doesn't make me feel any better.
This won't either. I recognize her. She's one of Malice's personal guards. And she's carrying the Ash Imperator's sigil.
Is that an order to defect? Could Malice be playing both sides?
She's Ash. We've got to warn Kree.
Let's not jump to conclusions. Krisha.
Great timing, Commander. Malice got that message to Ryland. He's agreed to another parley. Meet us at the hidden base.
You can't talk about this over comms. I don't trust Malice. I sure as hell don't trust Smodur.
We'll pull Krisha aside after. Let's handle Ryland first.
All right. So here we go. We're going to wrap up this instance. Not to belabor the point, but like the commander and Ritlock are like all kinds of wrong throughout this instance, and they're wrong again here with this Char corpse. The fact that she's carrying an Ash Legion sigil does not mean she's a turncoat. There could be any number of explanations for that. Ash Legion are responsible for espionage. It might mean that Ash were doing their jobs. Like, so for the commander and Ritlock to make all these negative assumptions is not helpful. Not helpful on the battlefield. Like, the enemy's already, and we've seen that out of this particular enemy, right? Like, we've seen that the Dominion forces are attempting to utilize propaganda and psychological warfare, and we're going to do their job for them. The enemy doesn't have to drive a wedge, between us because we're going to do it on their behalf. How is that like beneficial? How is that productive on our part? It's not. Now I'm not trying to trash what is probably ArenaNet's strongest story, maybe ever. Simply, there's what is this thing over here? What was this little circle? Simply making an observation. Oh, it's a supply drop. Well, it's free loot. Thanks, buddy.
All shiny.
Simply making some observations about the story. Because at the end of the day, that little piece notwithstanding, I 100% feel like this chapter and the next. So Jormag Rising and what was this one again? Oh my gosh. Now I forgot. No Quarter and Jormag Rising are probably the strongest.
Saw an enemy tribune nearby. Get rid of them.
Alrighty. Probably the strongest storytelling in all of Guild Wars 2 to date. We'll see if Secrets of the Obscure manage to top it. It's a possibility that I'm open to. Now that they're going to be working in like a much shorter format for storytelling, it's either going to go really, really well or really bad. Like, it's either going to give us like really fun stuff, or it's going to turn out to not be very good. Okay, so we want to make sure we join the right instance here. Wow, look at all these options. Look at that. Let's continue our story. How about that? Oh, hey, everybody.
Full house. Ryland should be arriving soon.
Logan, Kaz, why don't you guys hang back this time?
You've been valuable allies, and I am grateful for all your help. But Ryland...
We understand. There's too much at stake.
We're at your service, as long as you need us, Tribune Stoneglow.
Call me Krisha. Commander, let's collect our prisoner.
Okay. Oh, look, there's Cinder. What's Ritlock like hanging out with her? So presumably, we heard Krisha say that she's known Cinder since they were cubs. It stands to reason then that Ritlock, at least to some degree, also has known them since they were cubs. Whatever happened between Ritlock and Krisha, like, Ryland was their cub. So if this, if Cinder's relationship with Ryland goes all the way back to when they were wee little kitteny type things and so forth, then Ritlock surely has at least some familiarity with her, right?
Centurion, it's time.
Chain me all you want. Ryland will never kneel to you.
It's not about that. It's about saving our people. Including you.
You say that now, but get a little power. Sink your teeth in.
Cub, you've got a lot to learn.
Save it. I've learned plenty. Seen and done plenty. Old heads aren't the only ones fit to lead.
You've proven yourselves. But choices made in the field stay with you.
Alright, so while Banger may be a little bit of crazy with this whole Jormag thing, I think we can be somewhat sympathetic to some of the others, like Cinder.
Your throat myself. As if you've got the claws. I close my eyes. You sound just like Bangar.
I don't know why we have to break it up. Can we choose not to break it up? Is there, if we just hang out back here, can they maybe like, can Ephraim just kind of whoop Smudur's ass? Apparently not. So we did hear from Ephraim early on. We were all the way back here, so we don't catch the dialogue very well. That was in fact a searing crystal that was used. So I guess, you know, if we have some ethical, objection to that particular type of weapon, considering its historical significance within Guild Wars 2, then maybe the commander had like some right to be kind of worked up over it.
You have good reason to be angry, Ephraim, but now's not the time. We need a pact with Ryland.
Do we? We've retaken the territory. No reason to negotiate with Steelcatcher.
We agreed. Ryland's our best chance to get to Bangar fast and stop him for good.
Grisha will speak for us. All of us.
You got him here, Grisha. Now get him to listen.
Alright. Okay, we have a second to talk. So what was mentioned there, we've retaken the territory. This particular instance, between the last time we were in this little command post and this time, that last instance in this command post, it's reasonable to assess that like our forces had advanced, you know, like up here to Leadfoot and to the lighthouse. But now, in this instance, we have successfully taken everything up to the bridge. So the meta event, which takes place here, has now already happened prior to this this instance taking place. Why is that significant? Because in the meta event, you actually kill several of Ryland's warband, and we're going to hear that referenced in the story. So it's important to understand that little piece as we go forward here.
You, Ryland, leading blood, that should be our future. Hope Ryland doesn't waste it, or your lives.
Warband above self.
A warband of two.
What? What?
You haven't heard? Your playmates are defeated and dead. That's war.
Real civil. Farrar can't teach you everything.
Steelcatcher's late. Maybe he doesn't value this one as much as you people think.
Smodur the Unflinching. I fought you, and I'm damn sure you gave yourself that name.
Oh, we got to be over here to trigger that.
Tribune Steelcatcher.
Tribune Stoneglow, I'm here.
Your warband mates. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Are you? Gives you the advantage.
You were told to come alone.
I'm talking to Stoneglow. So, what do you want?
Rejoin the legions. Put an end to our people killing each other.
My orders haven't changed.
The situation has changed. Vaishan, Nikobar, Ranoa. Are those orders worth your loyalty?
And what orders are you giving?
I'm not giving you orders. I'm trying to bring you home.
I'm not some cub who wandered off. And your hostage isn't a toy you're holding until I fall in line.
Think. Bangar's compromised. He's trying to yoke an elder dragon. This war will get so much worse. Steel could turn the tide. Our people flock to you. They're your responsibility. You're their future.
Oh, this whole farce is a waste of...
Smodur. Ryland, every choice has a price. You chose Bangar, and it's cost you the rest of your warband. Isn't that enough?
Krisha, we've always been straight with each other. You say steel's essential? We're vital to the future? Show of faith. Let Cinder walk out of here with me.
I need some assurances.
Enough! Don't need traitors. I trusted you.
Oh man, everything's gone pear-shaped. So really good stuff there. Really good stuff in the sense that, not just that Smodur kills, what's her name, Cinder. I mean that's fine. But then that it's Krisha, who is Ryland's mom, remember, who prevents him from being able to kill Smodur in return. Because if you go back and watch that cutscene.
He's not going to get far. Our forces have taken the bridge.
Then we don't need you, Smodur. You've done more than enough.
I lanced a tumor and cauterized the wound.
Alright.
Absolute ass. We had a chance to save them, to bring them all home.
We never needed traitors to win against Bangar. It's not a compromise I was willing to make.
How do we get Ryland back?
Smodur's head on a pike. I am a Legion Imperator with no honor. Kree should have let Ryland kill you.
Yeah, that right there is what I'm waiting for the dialogue to end to say. Ryland 100% would have killed Smodur had Krisha not put that shield up, right? And if you go back and watch a cutscene, you can see that. He's still reaching for his sword when Ryland's sword hits the shield. So Krisha 100% prevents Ryland from getting his revenge, and Ryland views that as a betrayal. And that's like the really nice twist there. And then we get this. So the Allied forces held the bridge, and now they've lost it. It's been a massacre here. A large battle. Deaths on both sides.
The Tribune was just a taste of Bangar's power. With Bangar's true leadership and vision, the Tsar had evolved.
Oh my. Ridlock!
They look like sons of Svanir.
Ryland's gone.
We can't let them get beyond this valley.
Face the might of the frost beneath us.
Doesn't it?
Hold them! Don't let them get around us!
He fights smarter than Icebrood.
I could outrun a second. We heal as one.
You're nothing but Dormag beasts! Better we kill you all, or die trying!
Alright, I was kind of trying to wait for a break in the dialogue there. So, we see now this is like our introduction to the Frost Legion here. So these Char, yes, Smodur, we're getting to it. So these Char that appear to be corrupted by Jormag, that is a very specific enemy set that we hadn't seen before now. We got other Icebrood and so forth here as well. But these corrupted Char, this is the first time that we see them, and they will be a significant force that we're gonna have to deal with going forward. There's one right next to us. This Frost Legion Crusher here. They're going to be a problem for us, and they're going to be a problem for us in this instance. Actually, it is real easy to die in this instance, and I'm not going to make any promises about whether or not that that will or will not happen to me here. So Smodur bounced on us, not completely. It's not like he ran away in terror, but he bounced on us down here on the battlefield. He took to the high ground up here and is providing us with indirect fire, support by fire, artillery support, from presumably up here, somewhere back here or whatever. So with each new wave, we're going to get this skill here, Artillery Strike, which is going to be pretty significant because we're going to need it. If we can catch both these vets here, that's going to make a big difference for us, which is why I like to kind of sit on that skill while I try and draw some of these guys in here and see if we can't create some real significant effect with our fires. Of course, if I allow myself to die, then it's not going to help anything at all.
You sick? Clear the air. Strength of the pack. Trip 'em up.
I'm in a bad way, because if I get down, once more, then I'm not going to be able to get up. It'll be an auto kill here soon, simply because I've already been down a couple times. And that's not what we want.
We heal as one. You sick? Feel the fury.
There we go. Bought ourselves a little bit of time. And mini boss.
Look at what our Imperator has achieved. You should have chosen his side.
Alright, we should get a break bar out of here pretty soon, which will make this fight a touch easier. It's a slow break bar to break, though. It does not break easy. Alright, so these things we can kind of manage by triggering them and then getting out of their kill zones, and thus they no longer become a problem for us. But we're going to get a lot of other AoEs. So by this point in time in the game's development, ArenaNet's gotten a bit better about AoE spam and finding other ways of engaging the player besides just literally covering the ground in AoEs. But there's still no shortage of AoEs in this particular encounter.
Frost Legion, cut them down.
Clear the air.
Our minds are too weak to resist the coming storm. Engineers, obliterate them.
I'll break you down.
We never actually broke our bar.
Frost Legion.
Fall back. Retreat and regroup.
Alright, so we're going to get out of here. We're going to hightail. Oh, actually, I had full health anyway. Now we're going to try and dodge all this artillery fire, all this indirect fire. It is a bit of a trick. And in fact, I think we still have the achievement available. Yeah, we do. Because when I did this last time with the audio jacked up, I was unable. I was almost back to the end and failed to get that achievement. So we're going to try and get it. We're going to see if we can do it. I'm not the type to get super worked up over achievements. But it's available to us, and we got to make the run back anyway, so we're going to try and get it. There's certainly a degree of RNG in it, in terms of where these AoEs spawn. I don't believe they have like a specific pattern. Like, I think they are RNG based. So we gotta kind of hope for a little bit of good luck in terms of where the artillery falls. Right here, it gets really hard to see where it's actually landing to. The AoE, or the little red circles, don't show up very well. Hey, we got it. What do you know? I think actually we had one land on us, but we were already past the threshold to get the achievement.
Where's Ryland?
Gone. He's gone back to Bangar.
You had no right. It's done. Now.
You are not Connor. No one here will ever bow to you.
We've lost the bridge, and we met the Frost Legion.
Bangar. He served our people up as slaves to Jormag. They're abominations. We've got to end this. Malice, what about your agents in Dominion?
How did you...
You're the Ash Imperator.
I sent double agents to get eyes on Bangar. They will get us the intel we need to stop him. Give them time.
We'll continue to hold the territory. We'll heal. And when a way forward opens, we'll be ready.
Okay, so in reference to what Krisha just said there, we're going to take a look at the map and we're going to kind of understand what she's talking about when a way opens, we'll be ready. Because remember, this map was released in 2 different chapters, No Quarter and then Jormag Rising. So what that means in terms of that comment right there is that at the conclusion here of No Quarter, that line right there, this red one, like this right here, was all we had access to. And in theory, there was like glaciers coming up to this point. That's how they present it in the story. I don't remember what actually kept us from going forward physically on this map. I don't remember if it was an invisible wall or if they actually put some kind of asset there to keep you from moving forward. I simply don't remember. I'm sure there's videos from that time, Wood Potatoes or whoever who would have videos showing that. I don't recall. But you couldn't come north. So when we pick up the next story, there's going to be a change or next chapter. There's going to be a change in that in terms of the actual story itself that explains why we are then able to come forward. So for right now, and that was cemented when Bangar and Ryland's forces, we were holding the bridge, and then they killed all those folks holding the bridge, and now this bridge and this water, right? Because the water comes all the way across the map for all intents and purposes, with the exception of this right here, which will play into the next story chapter. And then the bridge. So the term that you will hear in U.S. military circles will be canalized, right? All the forces are canalized to have to, if they're going to assault, have to cross this bridge, and that is colossally, disadvantageous for assaulting forces. Bridges and linear water features like this bay or river, whatever this is, are always a boon to defenders and always a problem for an attacking force. And that's what we see here. So we're kind of stranded right now until the next story picks up. And that is, in fact, gonna be how it goes for us. During the weekend, certainly I have time to try and tackle multiple chapters in one afternoon or whatever. But during the work week, I most certainly do not. So we're going to come over here, see if we can get a nice backdrop. Oh, we're going to have a hard time getting a backdrop, actually, because we do not hold this terrain at the moment. But we're going to try and get a decent backdrop, and we're going to wrap this video up so that we can pick it up again tomorrow and replay Jormag Rising. Oh, 2 vets. Good. Good. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen. There's a way of sheathing that hammer. I don't remember what it is. Anyway, not important. Let's wrap it up right here. Hammer out or not. Thank you for joining me today. We have now kind of reached a deadlock. We're at an impasse, right? We thought we could negotiate with Ryland because we had his second command in captivity, but Smodur killed our captive, thus removing any leverage we had, and now we are 100% at odds. There's no reconciliation. That's simply impossible now. We're going to have to win this war, but we can't move forward right now. So we're waiting for circumstances to change because the only feature that will allow us to move forward is held by the enemy, that being this bridge. And so we just don't have any options. So when we come back next time, we'll see if circumstances have changed and if we can move forward, take the fight to Bangar, and prevent this from becoming a Jormag thing. Because that would be worst case scenario, right? Jormag gets involved. So I will see you again soon when we continue our playthrough. In the meantime, I hope you have a good one. Thank you.